Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Hello, Angela. Hello, Ray. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. Good morning.
We have no Heather this morning because Heather has COVID. She's had it for 2 weeks.
Uh,
So we're giving her our best wishes to get better from COVID. So it's still out there, it's still
yeah,
going around. So we haven't shaken it yet, I guess.
yep. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the case. You know, it seems to be surging, and now with all the kids back at school, watch out where they come home.
Now, Ray, are you still like the last survivor of the zombie apocalypse, meaning the zombies can't contaminate you? Because you still haven't gotten it, right?
I have been very, very
What?
fortunate. I am as they say, a ticking time bomb because at some point I'm going to get it, and it'll probably, kick my butt. But I've been very fortunate. Nothing yet.
What's the movie with Will Smith where he's the last person on the planet and after the zombie apocalypse, they're gonna make another one. They're making a second one. It's a really good
Yeah,
movie. But that's
yeah,
essentially Ray. He's like immune. He's walking the planet with his dog like Will Smith did in his
that's
shotgun,
right.
trying to
That's right.
fend off the zombies. But
That's
this
right.
case it's the coronavirus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
myself and Bogart walking around, my basset hound.
Exactly. Well, we're talking
Fierce
about.
dog.
Go ahead, Angela.
No, I said that's a fierce dog.
Yes, yes. We're talking about talent acquisition today, and I think we're talking about the tough times in TA right now for people looking for TA jobs. We're talking about the changing TA market. And then I want to talk a little bit about the revisions downward that the Labor Department is going to be making this week because the Labor Department put out a million too many jobs that the economy was producing from March to March, and just want to talk a little bit about that. But I'll just kick it off in saying that wow, if you're doing TA right now, it's pretty tough. If you're looking for a TA job in talent acquisition, if you're a recruiter, if you're a sourcer, everyone that we've talked to, and I've talked to both Angela and Ray about this individually, there's just not a lot of jobs out there. I mean, people are really struggling. So Angela, I know you and I talked a little bit about this last week. You want to share some of your thoughts around that?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, a couple things. The average was 250 applications per job posting for, more of a business professional role. And now the stats are saying that it's three times that it's three times the volume. So if you think about what the challenges were even, let's say a year ago to what it is today, it's just insane. And having, recently gone through the process, it is really, really difficult and challenging. And the volumes, I, would just say to get through 1,000 applications or 750 applications, knowing, what a typical recruiter has on their plate to get through 250. I honestly just cannot imagine what life is like and how, in any way, they're able to really best navigate that circumstance and get to, the end result feeling really strong about that final base of candidates, knowing, if 5 to 6 actually make it through to the interview process, that's such a low percentage of people getting through. But yeah, I mean, it's a difficult market out there. And I do think that there are jobs. It's not that jobs aren't being posted. I believe that the volume of applicants is just so high. And like you mentioned before on a previous podcast, it's winning a lottery. Honestly, to get through even to the interview phase, you've got to be highly skilled. But beyond that, from a recruiter perspective, just the amount of skills and your ability, savvy to get through without having, some type of AI and tools to help support you. I don't know how they're able to effectively manage through an opening. But
Ray, you and I have
Yeah,
talked a little bit about this.
yeah. I think it's very difficult, like you said, Angela, from the recruiter side, from the applicant side. I mean, we work with a lot of folks in our network to help them, as they're looking for roles. We've got one individual who's probably been out, 6 months, really, really strong HR leader that is fantastic. Um, we've got another individual a recruiter, highly skilled, just, has great contacts, and again, has been out, probably 12 months now. And this person actually started up a GoFundMe, page to help pay for some of his expenses. I mean, that's how bad it is. And so it is a tough, tough market out there. And then we've got another really good friend of ours in Florida, who, you know, was out probably 6 months from a really, top tier, you know, technology company, talent leader, and ended up taking a very low level, kind of entry level recruiter, at probably, less than 50% of what he was making before. So, there's a lot of challenges out there for folks in that space, and I think it's just really, really tough right now. Not going to get any easier, as we go through the end of the year.
One of the things that we've heard recently from a client that we're working with on a TA assessment project is that AI is making their lives somewhat miserable in terms of the fact that candidates are using AI tools and just pushing their resume into virtually every job that there is. And so these companies are just getting flooded with resumes that are completely unqualified and inappropriate for the jobs. And in some situations, some companies, and not this company, but in some companies, they don't do a very good job of screening. So these managers are going in and looking at people who've applied, and they have thousands of people that have applied for a job through AI, and they just don't even know where to start to look through all these resumes. And the reality of it is you have to begin to use AI to sift through these resumes, and you have to use AI on the company side to basically be able to find a profile and to get a profile that works well. I think if candidates are going to be using AI, companies have to begin to use AI too. It's the only way you're going to be able to keep up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true. And one of the things that we're starting to see more and more, are, when somebody applies to a role, are some of the knockout questions. It's like, do you have 10 plus years of experience doing this? Do you have a college degree? I mean, just some of those basic things to help sift through the numbers. But even that, some people will lie, right? And to get in. So that's the challenge with that. But yeah, it's and then I mean, I think earlier, I think during the pandemic, I mean, there was a concept of rage applying, where people that were not happy with their current opportunity would basically on the weekend go on LinkedIn and you know apply to 100 jobs. Well, that's what's continuing to happen, and that's why there's so many applicants for an opening.
Well, it's happening, albeit in a different way. Meaning, you can get an AI tool that'll apply to 2,000 or 3,000 jobs for
Yeah,
you in a matter of a few minutes
exactly.
because it goes
Yeah.
and it scrapes. And so
Hmm.
rage applying, when you're like, oh, I'm just going to go in here and try to enter my job multiple times, which does take time and effort. But like I said, these AI tools have made it really easy to basically do it very quickly.
Yep.
But the other thing is, I just think that there's not a lot of jobs out there. I mean, I just think that there are not as many jobs as people realize. And I know that sounds really dumb to say, or people are like, what do you mean? I've always felt that there was a disconnect between how jobs were being counted at the government level versus how many people were really getting employment when you looked at it, because so many people are struggling where they just can't get a job. And they've like, I've tried, I've done virtually everything. So I think that there was a lot of people that were fairly skeptical about how many jobs were in the market. And I think that the reality of it is there weren't as many jobs in the market. So people who were feeling so down about themselves and feeling so basically demoralized by the process, we have to throw them a lifeline and say, yeah, look, there's even less jobs than you thought that there were. And so I think we really need to bring those people along and help them to not feel bad, like the person you mentioned, Ray, who we know, who did
Hmm.
um, GoFundMe, but there's a lot of people that I've seen that have done GoFundMe's, or they've been out of work for 2 years, or there's just a lack of jobs for people to apply for. So that's really difficult, I think, to reconcile for people, especially when you've really struggled and you really feel like you've tried everything and you're just not having success.
Yeah. One of the things too that I've seen on LinkedIn especially is just the number of scammers. I mean, there are so many people in the space now that are proclaiming to be these resume experts that can help you get through the ATS, career coaching and things like that, and they don't have credentials. I mean, and they've been doing this on LinkedIn for a couple of years. So it's surprising to me too, like in the midst of the situation people are in, to see the number of people, and you've just got to be cautious in who you're working with to make sure that you've vetted them as best you can, so that you're getting that right support and resource. But one of the things you said is, even if there are a lot of jobs, the felt reality of the majority of people that I know, you've been talking to, and even just looking through LinkedIn and a couple searches this morning. I mean, I had to stop reading the post from people, and it was over 2 years. It's been a year and 18 months. I mean, we're talking statistics and graphs that they put together to show the thousands of jobs that they personally, not using ATS and blasting, like you mentioned, but personally applying for, and getting through that time, 6 interviews of all of that. It's just, it really puts the candidate at such a disadvantage today trying to navigate this world, with the ATS systems, with AI, and then trying to understand, how do they put themselves and their best foot forward, to get seen and have that opportunity to even speak to anyone. But it's tough.
Yeah, the
Yep.
sad part is we have all this technology, but the processes are broken. They're just not working. So we have AI on both sides. We have ATSs. We have resume building sites for employees. We have coaches and all these other things that are out there, but the whole process is just completely in disarray. And there needs to be a thoughtful discussion that we all need to have about, okay, let's take a step back here. How do we, as talent acquisition professionals, think of ways to make this process better? How do we fix it on both the candidate side and on the employer side? I mean, that really needs to be a conversation that comes out of all of this. You know, what typically happens is all of a sudden hiring picks up and then everybody's golden again because, winning is the best deodorant, as John Madden used to say. Okay, everybody's getting a job, so we forget about everything that happened in the past. But things happen again. You take another dip, we're back in this same position. So I think there needs to be a lot of focus on this process going forward.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that organizations need to be much better at what jobs are really open and what they post. And you know we've had clients that post hundreds of jobs, and you know 50% of them are really not open. They call them evergreen jobs. They just want to get resumes. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense from the you know candidate side. That's just a bad candidate experience, if you don't really have a job open. But also from the employee side, or the applicant side, uh, it's got to be more about networking and really trying to be more targeted in their search versus the just sending your resume everywhere and applying for everything. Because that just clearly it's tough to get through to those final, like you said, Angela, 5 or 6 people that get an interview. uh and a lot of times what we try to do is we really try to focus, as we help folks in our network around networking. It's really, hey, figure out, talk to people, and there's even a person here locally that I know really, really well, and he's got a website called the Introverted Networker. you
Oh,
know,
that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
and
Yeah.
it's like, hey, even if you're a networker, you've got to figure out a way. Even if you're introvert, it's tough to get out there, but you got to get out there and you got to find ways to do that. And he's got some great recommendations on how to do things like that. But yeah, it really is. You're right. It's got to be addressed on both sides.
Yeah, I think that if you have learned nothing else this last year or last 2 years, and you have either thought about looking for a job or you've had to look for another job, and I feel so bad saying this advice because it just seems so commonplace. It's just is not really, it's not rocket science, but it's really important that if you've struggled and you finally landed a job, now don't go back hiding again. And I mean that in a polite way. Don't go back hiding again saying, hey, I'm just going to do my job. Make sure that this time you really keep your network alive and active. Make sure that you keep talking to people, that you keep meeting people for coffee and for lunches, so that the next time this happens, you're more, in control of the situation. And then also, the more you do it while you have a job, you may find something that you didn't even know about that gets offered to you that's even a better job. So please, 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 I implore you to keep networking even once you get something. It's just not something that you can ever stop doing until the day you retire and say, I don't want to work anymore and I'm raising the white flag. I mean, it's as much as you have to work, you also have to do and build your network at the same
Yeah.
time. There's just no way around it.
I can't ditto and reinforce what you said enough, Jason. I think just even, from our personal situation, based on time and whatever excuse you want to put out there for not doing it, I was heads down and not really leveraging the power of my network. And the first thing that people have said, well, you got to build your network, you got to use your network. And so, you want to sit under the shade of the tree tomorrow for the seed you plant today. And so, really working towards that now is key, and just keeping that fuel going. I have found, just in the networking, it's been very inspiring. There's so many amazing people out here wanting to help and support you. And I mean, I would just say, if, people aren't sure how to do it, introverted or whatever, I think that's a great point. It's not challenging. It's just it's an effort that you have to be intentional about building relationship and really looking to expand your community with what you have to offer. So yeah, I just wanted to mention that I cannot reinforce that enough, just from personal
That's great
experience.
advice.
Yeah, it is. And the other part too is, you know, offer to help. You know, don't just network to find a new job, but network to help somebody, to help a professional, a peer.
I'll be there
Uh,
for you.
exactly. You know, and even in our business, we've got, our approach is to build long-term relationships, and you know, I think 6 months ago, I was, somebody on an M&A call said, "Hey, I'm doing M&A, and I'm not sure what I'm doing. I really need to figure out, kind of some templates and things." And I reached out to her, provided her some templates on project plans and some other things to help her as she was starting to do some deals. And and all of a sudden they're getting even more acquisitive and they need help. And she booked a meeting with us on Friday. So it's really about helping first,
Yeah.
and really building your network through providing them that assistance.
And one of the other things is sometimes we get enamored with our own skill set. We're like, well, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. I have all this experience. I'm really good. I've networked with these people. I know this people and blah, blah, blah. And maybe done a little bit of networking, but you get enamored with, yourself and you think, hey, I'm pretty good. I'm going to have to go back out in the market. It should be pretty easy. And then a lot of people find out, like, especially during tough times right now, that, whoa, it's not what I thought. And I think that, Angela, like some of those posts that you were talking about on LinkedIn, there's been a number of them where I've seen, and there's been a number of people that I've talked to, which is a lot, that said, I'm just shocked at how hard it was. Like, I thought it would be easy based upon my skill set. It is not. It is super hard. So don't fall in love with your skill set, and keep learning and keep talking and keep grinding away to make sure that you are where you want to be when something happens.
Yep, very true. Very true. And if anybody needs any help or support, let us know. We'd love to help them.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be at the Rosen Shingle Creek next Tuesday. I'm doing my presentation on Tuesday from 4:30 to 5:30 while everyone is drinking for cocktail hour.
You
So
drew the short straw.
what I would say is bring your cocktail up to the room where I'm talking. If you're a little bit schnockered, and that's fine, I don't care. So come on up, bring your cocktail, come to the talk, and then go get another cocktail after you're done. I'm good with that. Now, Ray, you have like the prime time slot, like you're 11:30 to
Yeah.
12:30 right before lunch, which is awesome. Who did you pay to get that?
Yeah, I only paid a couple of dollars to the scheduler, but that's
Excellent.
So, but no, I think I'm also doing my presentation on Wednesday, like Jason said, 11:30 to 12:30. Hopefully, folks are wide awake and not too hungry, and they'll come by and visit us both, in Orlando. So we're
And your
looking forward
topic,
to it.
Ray, is
My topic is utilizing AI in talent acquisition. So the
how
entire
timely. How timely. You like extrasensory perception.
I know,
That you
it's
did
pretty
this.
funny, pretty funny.
Yeah.
But no, it should be a good discussion, and we're gonna have a hopefully a good interactive session.
Mine is on AI powered chatbots in mental health. And the last time we had this conversation in Cincinnati at World of Work, it sparked a lot of interest. There was a lot of people that had thoughts and opinions on both sides. So we talk a lot about how AI is getting into helping people and with our mental health issues and mental health needs. So it'll be a good discussion, and we'll bring you some things that you probably haven't thought about, or maybe you've thought about, but we'll tee them up for a larger discussion.
Yeah.
And then Angela, I think you're going to be there too with us with Thrive. So we'll see you one of the days. And so we're excited to be there. So if you want to meet or talk to Ray, how would people get a hold of you?
Yeah, just send me an email, rey@thrivehrconsulting.com.
And then Angela, how would they get a hold of you?
How do they best get a hold of me? I think
I
maybe
think
through.
we do have an email for Angela. I don't know if I've given that out yet. All right, I'll have to put that out on my I'll have to put that out on my LinkedIn. So, but you can reach Angela through Thrive at Thrive HR Consulting until I actually look at what the email alias is that we built for her. So I'll actually get it. I don't remember. But you can reach her at Thrive HR Consulting. And your cell phone is?
Yeah, I can give it now. Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. 407-223-3388.
All right. Well, we look forward. Oh, and me, I'm Jason at thrivehrconsulting.com. Just send me an email there, or I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. So we look forward to talking to all of you next week, and we look forward to seeing those of you who are going to be in Orlando at the Rosen Shingle Creek next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So that'll be awesome.
All right. Take
All
care.
right. Talk later. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks to you.